Hello and welcome. Life gets so incredibly busy, doesn't it? And somewhere in the middle of it all, cooking can start to feel less like a creative joy and more like, well, just another thing on the to-do list. But what if we could flip that script? What if a few simple changes in the kitchen could give us back our time and make cooking feel satisfying and mindful again? Well, today we're going to dive into 20 fantastic tips to help you do exactly that. So, we're going to break this down into 4 key areas. First up, we'll talk about how to plan ahead to get rid of that stress before you even start. Then we'll get into the good stuff, how to cook smarter, not harder. After that, we'll explore how to future-proof your meals so the work you do today pays off for days. And finally, we'll look at how to simplify and clean up, making that final stretch a breeze. Ready? Let's get started. Okay, so our first section is all about prep. And trust me, this is where the real magic happens. It's not about adding more work to your plate. It's about spending just a few minutes thinking ahead to save yourself from that frantic, last-minute panic later on. This is how you set the stage for a calm, enjoyable cooking experience. Oh, we've all been there, haven't we? You're in the middle of it all, something sizzling away, the kitchen smells incredible, and then you realize you forgot to chop the garlic, or you can't find that one spice you know you have somewhere. It just completely throws you off your game, and what was fun a second ago is now pretty stressful. Well, there's a professional technique designed to make sure that never happens. This right here, this one concept, mise en place, is an absolute game changer. It's a French term that literally just means everything in its place. All it is the simple practice of getting all your ingredients washed, chopped, measured out, and organized before you turn on a single burner. Your countertop becomes this calm, organized command center. It might feel like an extra step at first, but I promise it transforms the actual cooking into this smooth, seamless process. You're not trying to do 5 things at once, you're just calmly putting your plan into action. And this whole idea of prep can start way before you even decide what to cook. I mean, think about it. If you wash your veggies right when you get home from the store, they're clean, dry, and ready to go for the entire week. Taking that chicken out of the freezer the night before, that saves you from that panicked last-minute defrosting situation. And of course, making your very first step, preheating the oven or getting the water boiling, that means your equipment is already working for you while you're doing your final prep. These are such small habits, but they add up to a huge amount of saved time and stress. Okay, and this one sounds so simple, but it is crucial. Think of your recipe as a map. You wouldn't just hop in the car and start driving without glancing at the route, right? It's the same thing here. Just take 60 seconds to read the recipe all the way through. It helps you see the whole picture, understand the steps, and most importantly, it prevents you from getting blindsided by a step that says, marinate for 2 hours right in the middle. It's probably the easiest tip of all, and it prevents so many headaches. All right, our prep is done, our plan is solid, and now it's actually time to cook. But how do we make this part faster and more efficient? This section is all about the little techniques you can use while you're at the stove that make a big difference without sacrificing any of the flavor. This is one of my absolute favorite time savers because it is just so brilliantly simple. If you're already getting out the cutting board and the knife to chop one onion, it takes, an extra 30 seconds to chop a second one? So you use one now and you pop the other one in a freezer bag. Then the next time you need a chopped onion, bam, it's already done. You've just skipped a whole step. This works great for things like onions, bell peppers, carrots, all those basics you use all the time. Now let's talk a little bit about physics. It's really simple. Smaller pieces of food just cook faster. More of their surface is exposed to the heat. So if you dice your chicken or veggies into smaller, uniform pieces, not only will they cook much more quickly, but they'll also cook more evenly. No more burnt outsides and raw insides. And of course, the cooking method you choose is huge. A slow roast is wonderful for a Sunday afternoon, but on a Tuesday night, high heat methods like a quick stir fry or putting something under the broiler can get dinner on the table in minutes. I love this because it's really about a shift in mindset. Let's say you realize you don't have the exact fresh herb the recipe calls for. Instead of stopping everything to go look up a substitute, just improvise. Use what you've got. Maybe use a different herb or a little bit of dried spice instead. This flexibility not only saves you a ton of time, but it also really builds your confidence as a cook. You start to realize you're in charge, not the recipe. And here are 2 amazing little hacks you can use in the moment. First, flavor. You don't always need a sauce that's been simmering for hours. A quick squeeze of lemon juice at the end can brighten up an entire dish. A handful of fresh herbs, a pinch of chili flakes. These things take seconds, but add so much life. And on the other side, portion control. Forget digging out the scale every time. Just find a mug or a small cup that holds the right amount of uncooked rice or pasta for you, and use that as your go-to measure. It's consistent, it's fast, and it's one less thing to watch. Okay, this next part is all about making your future self really, really happy. This is the whole strategy of doing a little extra work right now to make your meals for the next few days way, way easier. It's all about getting the biggest return on your time investment. This principle is such a game changer. If you're already grilling one chicken breast, it takes basically no extra time to grill 3. If you're making a cup of rice, just make 2. The payoff is enormous. That extra chicken is ready to be sliced up for a salad or a wrap for lunch tomorrow. The extra ground meat can become tacos the next night. You're basically prepping for future meals without having to do a big formal meal prep session. Your freezer is so much more than just a storage space. It's a time machine for delicious food. Freezer marinades are just genius. You put your raw meat and the marinade in a bag, freeze it, and it actually marinates as it thaws in the fridge. Flavored butters, with garlic and herbs, are amazing. You just slice off a little coin and melt it over steak or fish. And ice cube trays. They're perfect for freezing leftover wine or stock into little flavor bombs you can just drop into a pan. No waste and instant flavor. And don't forget, you don't always have to prep entire meals. Sometimes, just prepping the pieces is even better. Having a container of washed spinach ready to go, a few hard-boiled eggs in the fridge, or leftovers already portioned out, it just removes all the friction. It makes it so easy to throw together a quick, healthy snack or lunch when you're busy and don't have time to think. All right, we've made it to our final section. The food is cooked, it smells amazing, but we're not quite done. For a lot of us, the thought of all the cleanup can really take the fun out of cooking. So let's talk about how to make this last part as painless as possible. It's a feeling we all know, right? You've just created this wonderful meal, you're finally ready to sit down and enjoy it, but you can see that pile of pots and pans out of the corner of your eye, just waiting for you. That mental weight can be enough to make you not want to cook at all. But it really doesn't have to be that way. Here are 2 simple, powerful rules to live by. First, serve your meals family style. Instead of plating everything individually in the kitchen, just put the food on a couple of larger platters and let everyone serve themselves at the table. It feels more communal and it means way fewer dishes to wash. Second, clean as you go. That little bit of downtime while something is simmering, that's the perfect time to wash the cutting board you just used. Wiping up a spill right when it happens takes 2 seconds. Doing these little things along the way prevents that huge, overwhelming pile of work at the end. So when you put it all together, you can see this isn't just a list of random tips. It's really a whole 4-step strategy for your kitchen. You plan ahead by getting everything in its place. You cook smarter by being efficient with your cuts and your cooking methods. You future-proof by making extra to save your future self some time. And finally, you simplify the end of the process with easy serving and cleanup. And that brings us to the most important question. This isn't about trying to do all 20 of these things at once. That would be way too much. It's about finding just 1 or 2 that really clicked with you. Something you can try today, tonight, that will make a real difference. Maybe it's just deciding to chop that extra onion. Or maybe it's finally reading the recipe all the way through before you start. What's the one small change you can make to get some time back and bring a little more joy into your kitchen?